One of the first questions that people will ask a watercolor artist that's doing a demo is, what brush are you using? And because they want to get all the information they can from the artist about the tools they're using. One of the most important things you can get as a tool as a watercolor artist is your brushes. You need a brush that holds a lot of water and can leave great marks on the watercolor paper. So it's good to have a good brush, but a lot of the joy that comes from watercolor and the magic of it is the knowledge that you have to put the brush strokes down on the paper. And the more you practice and the more you paint, the more confident you get with your brush strokes, and you're less worried about making a mark that's gonna be bad on your painting, and you go ahead and just put those marks down. And the confidence that you have in your brush stroke shows up in the finished painting. So maybe more important than the brush is your knowledge of how your brush works and how you can use it to add to your painting. But just putting that one simple brush stroke down on the watercolor paper adds great beauty to the painting and the finished artwork. One thing that helps if you like to make marks on your watercolor paper is having hot press watercolor paper, because it just leaves marks on the paper. And those marks add to the freedom of the painting and add to the finished product of the watercolor painting. The benefit of knowing how to draw and to put that drawing down straight on the watercolor paper is shown throughout the painting, because even though you have the drawing down on the watercolor paper that you've sketched, the whole time that I'm painting the watercolor painting, I'm looking at my picture of the person I'm painting, and I am redrawing things with my brushes. And so even though you have those pencil strokes down on the paper, you're not so worried about painting and staying in the lines. It's kind of like coloring when you're in elementary school. You don't want to be so worried about staying in the line that it makes your painting stiff. And so a good ability in drawing comes through, even though you've got your sketch on your paper. With each brush stroke, you're also drawing this person and seeing if it works. One of the good things about hot press watercolor paper is that it is easy to lift off. And so if there is a hard edge that you have that you've made with your brush, you can come back and soften some of those edges and make them so that they work for the face that you're painting. Sometimes when I have a complicated drawing that I'm trying to get a lot of things into the watercolor painting, then I will sketch it on watercolor paper and transfer it to my watercolor paper with graphite. But if I do that, I have to be especially careful that I keep the painting free, and I'm not worried about keeping coloring inside the lines, because I love the freedom of the brushstroke. So, but there is a great freedom and a different look that comes to the painting if you sketch right on the watercolor paper and kind of go for it. And this ability comes from practice. And so carrying your sketchbook around and sketching the people that are around you, and doing it all the time, this helps you to become better and better at seeing the different shapes, seeing the distance between different objects. It's hard to paint people that you know, because you can be so afraid of trying to get a likeness that it kind of stiffens you up also. So practicing with your sketchbook also helps with that. So I can't emphasize enough how important it is to carry that sketchbook around. It will help you in your drawing, but it also helps you in the painting, because in the painting process you're also doing a lot of drawing. When I'm doing a demo, I have to do it quickly enough so that the students don't get bored. But a lot of the painting process is thinking, because before you put that brush stroke down to keep it fresh, you want to know exactly where that brush stroke is going, and where you're going to pull it up. You don't want to noodle that brush stroke. And noodling is like where you just keep working at a certain spot over and over again. You want to put that brush stroke down and leave it. Sometimes you can bring clear water into that brush stroke and watch what the magic of watercolor does to that brush stroke in expanding it and doing some of the painting that is the magic of watercolor. But there's a lot of thinking that goes into the painting. You don't want to think so much that that you're spending all your time thinking and not diving into the painting. So it's a balance between thinking about what needs to be done and looking and deciding, hey, I think it's finished.